Hey folks, this is Vint with Dad's Gaming Addiction, and today we're going to quickly review Star Wars Rebellion. This is a game that you can currently find on Steam and other places for about $6. Well, first of all, let me warn you, this is going to be a bit biased. I have owned this game ever since its original release, and I absolutely love it. I can't tell you how many hours I have in this game. I have the CD-ROM from when it first released. I have the Prima strategy guide even. Yes, there were strategy guide books back then because, internet wasn't all that discovered yet. I think GameFAQs was the place to go originally for maybe tooltips or cheat codes or whatnot. Nowadays it's a bit different. Anyway, kids, Star Wars Rebellion. This is a grand strategy game where you either play as the Rebellion or the Empire, and you have different goals depending on which one you pick. Whenever you start a new game, you can either choose a small, medium, or large galaxy. You can also choose your difficulty, easy, medium, or hard. And you can also choose between a standard game or headquarters only game. In the standard game, you have to capture two key figures of the opposing party and also take over their headquarters. As the Empire, you are trying to find the hidden rebel base somewhere. Once you destroy it, it's gone forever. So you have to find it and then bring ships over to it and destroy it. You also, in the standard game as the Empire, have to capture Mon Mothma and Luke Skywalker. As the Rebel Alliance, you have to just take over Coruscant. You know where it is, it's the center of the Imperial heart, and just taking that over is enough to satisfy that objective. You also have to capture Emperor Palpatine and Darth Vader. So you're going to pick one of these two factions, and the game will randomly generate the starting locations for certain things. The galaxy is typically the same. Like, the sectors will always be in the same spot. The name of the planets will always be in the same spot. It's just what planets are starting under your control and starting under the Empire's control will be slightly randomized. The Rebel Alliance headquarters will be somewhere in the Outer Rim, and, it's always randomized. Players won't know where that is until after the game starts. Well, at least the Rebel Alliance won't know. The Empire will have to go looking for it. As the Rebel Alliance, you get R2D2 and C3PO to help you out. They will chime in as bots to, they have their own menus too that you can interact with. The game also features an extensive database. So there's filters for just show me all idle construction yards, or show me all idle shipyards, or idle heroes, or show me idle fleets. Show me a list of all my fleets. Show me an encyclopedia of every character and every ship in the game, every ground troop that you could build. I want to see the amount of information in this is ridiculous. As the Empire, you get two unnamed, well, they're named, but I don't know them personally. I don't see them in the movies anywhere. But you get two Empire droids to help you out too. They're a bit more boating than R2D2 and C3PO, as you would expect. The gameplay is played over days. And you can either put the game on pause, slow, medium, or fast. You cannot do anything while the game is paused. So actually, there's a very slow as well that you can put it on. And that's where I spend most of my time when I'm trying to do things. And the gameplay, like, what you're aiming to do is, as the Rebel Alliance typically, you're going to be using your heroes. You've got Han Solo, Leia, and some other starting characters to recruit new people, which you can do. You, as the Rebel Alliance, you start with the ability to get 4 people that can recruit: Mon Mothma, Luke, Han, and Leia. You also get some other characters that you start with, but primarily you're going to be using those characters first to recruit new people. And I think each faction has up to 30 people. And it's important that you do recruit because certain people are unique in what they can do. Different like minor characters have different combat attributes, espionage attributes, but some can research. Like, there's ship research, there's troop research, and facility research. And I think there's only 2 or 3 per category. So, these 2 characters are the only ones that can research this. These 2 characters are the only ones that can research that. So you want to find them and keep them alive or uncaptured so that, you can get new technologies. And that's very important in this game because on the facility side, for example, you can build construction yards on various planets, shipyards, and troop facilities on various planets. And they will belt out troops and stuff for you and various things. But with the facility research, you can unlock advanced versions of them, which double the speed of the original facility. So an advanced construction yard will belt out things at 2 times the speed that a normal construction yard will do. So there's that. So you want to research unlocking new ships. For example, you get like as the Alliance, you get an escort carrier that can hold 6 ships at a time. Yeah, it's another thing. Like you can't just throw all your troops and ships onto a fleet. You have to have ships capable of carrying troops, and you have to have ships capable of carrying snub fighters like X-Wings and Y-Wings or TIE fighters and so on. So you have to build ships related to that. But you get the Alliance escort carrier in the beginning, but then you unlock a Liberator cruiser, which can do a whole lot more. You start with X-Wings and Y-Wings as the Rebel Alliance, and then you unlock A-Wings and B-Wings. In terms of ships, you get like the Bulwark battle cruiser and the Dauntless cruiser eventually. You get a frigate, which has its own grav-wheel generator, similar to that of the Empire's Interdictor cruiser, which can stop enemy ships from entering hyperspace during combat. On the troop side of things, again, you start off with the rudimentary stuff. The Empire gets stormtroopers and Imperial regiments. But then they unlock Dark Troopers and some other cool troops. As the Rebel Alliance, you unlock like Wookiee regiments and Solistan regiments, which are very cheapy, but they're good. So again, I know I'm kind of getting off topic, but there's a lot to talk about here. In addition to recruiting new people, you're going to be using your major characters to perform actions on various places. Those with a high diplomacy skill can go to any planet and do diplomacy, except for those that are controlled by the other party. Typically, then you would need to incite uprising. But on a neutral planet or on a planet that you control, you can send people with high diplomacy there to raise your bar. The bar is either going to show red, green, or a combination of both. And if it's more red than green, then it's rebel controlled. If it's more green than red, it's Empire controlled. If it is possible to control a planet that has less of your color than the other, but then you have to put troop regiments on the surface to keep the peace in order to maintain control. And that's one of the big differences between the Empire and the Rebel Alliance in this game. The Rebel Alliance has a lot of characters that with high diplomacy that can sway people to their side without force, whereas the Empire... Yeah, Emperor Palpatine and Darth Vader have high diplomacy. There are a couple of other characters in the Empire with high diplomacy, but typically, as the Empire, you're going to send your fleet around with your Imperial might, just conquer planets, and then keep just a sizable force on that planet to keep it under your control, and then move on to the next one. So as long as you keep troops there and maintain the peace, there's nothing that planet can do about it. As the Rebel Alliance, if you can sneak people in there, blow up some of their regiments with infiltration and sabotage missions, then, you can start uprisings and get the planet back to your side. So that's another thing you'll be doing. Another thing you can do with your characters, you can do abduction missions, you could do sabotage missions, incite uprisings, espionage. Intel in this game is not real time, so you have to send, either characters over to planets and do espionage. You can also construct no-named forces like Bothan spies or infiltrators, guerrilla warfighters that are only unique to certain actions. The guerrillas are good with incite uprising, the infiltrators are good with sabotage, the Bothan spies, espionage, and so on. Again, that's just the rebel side. The Imperial side has their own thing. So there's that. So you're going to be using your characters to perform a wide range of actions. And then you're going to be building fleets of ships, and you're going to be sending these fleets over to various planets to, again, conquer the enemy forces there. If you're the Empire, typically you just land forces and conquer the planet. If you're the Rebel Alliance, you might take a more subtle approach. Okay, and I've beaten the Empire force. I'm going to bombard the planet, target military facilities only, and take out the Imperial regiment, and then send diplomats down or troops down to, just quickly take over the planet, then use diplomacy to quickly sway it back to my side. Something like, your strategies will differ depending on the faction that you choose. Combat in this game is where it's a little lacking, especially in the newer remade version. I don't want to say remade. This game, was sort of fixed to work on Windows 10, but it does have issues. For example, there's no way to skip the opening droid dialogue. Whenever you start a new game, there's like a 2 or 3 minute briefing. It's skippable in the CD-ROM version, but it's not skippable in this version, which is annoying. I think I read somewhere that you can delete the DLL files so that you don't have to sit through it. There's that. Also, in combat, it's a real-time play. Like, you can tell what, like, Task Force 1, attack capital ships. Task Force 2, attack Imperial fighters. Or Task Force 3, blah, blah, blah. X-Wing group, attack this. Blue group, attack this and that. Like, you can do that, but everything is pixelated. Everything is this purpley pixelated trash that you can barely make out anything. Combat is very difficult to look at. I wish somehow, someone would remake this game, or some official company would remake this game so that the combat would look back to where it should be, and the settings would work appropriately. Like, there is no windowed mode option that I can find anywhere. Alt-Enter doesn't work. I'm not very tech savvy, so maybe there's a way to do it behind the scenes, but I haven't figured it out. So you're sort of forced in this full screen mode. So I wish there was a remake of this game at some point that fixed the options menu, the resolution options, fixed the graphical glitches, and fixed the brief, being able to skip the opening briefing. Just quality of life stuff that was in the CD-ROM game that should be here now but isn't because Windows 10 and all that jazz. Other than that, this game is totally worth your time. I just have to warn you, though, the learning curve is steep. You're going to be spending a lot of your time trying to figure out how to do something. This game gives you the tools that you need, but trying to discover how to do it is difficult. For example, let's say you want to find out how long it's going to take for one person to get, let's say you dragged Luke Skywalker from this planet and moved him to this planet. How long until he gets there? Well, first you have to find, okay, I'm looking at the new planet. Okay, there's these icons. This icon opens up all of the facilities on the planet. This icon opens up all of the forces that are on that planet. Ground troops, special characters, and so on. This button opens up current missions that are going to be there. Oh, okay, I need to open up this menu. Now I see his icon, and I see the little hyperspace window in the background, meaning that he's on his way traveling there. Now, how do I right-click on him, and then you click on properties or whatever, and info, whatever, and then it opens up this huge screen, and it says ETA, and then it gives you a day. And okay, so now I know he's going to get there on this day. Okay, that took longer than I wanted, but I eventually figured it out. Okay, now I need to figure out what idle shipyards do I have. Okay, there is a filter on this bottom window here that I can click on. How about this? I need I'm low on maintenance. There's mines, refineries, and maintenance in this game. For every mine and refinery that you have is 50 maintenance. If you drop below 0 maintenance, then your ships and your ships and army regiments start dismantling themselves. So you're like, well, how do I get more maintenance? How do I do this? So how many mines, how many refineries do I have? How do I know? Do I need more refineries? Do I need to build more mines? Click on your bigger bot, either C-3PO or the other equivalent on the Empire side. Go to Galaxy Overview, and then it'll give you a list of all mines and refineries that you have, and a total. So, I've got 50 mines and 55 refineries. So that means I've got 5 refineries that aren't doing anything. So I need 5 more mines so that I can get 50 maintenance per mine. Once I'm up to 55 mines and 55 refineries, now I need to build one of each in order to get 50 more maintenance so I can afford more stuff. So, yeah. Trying to navigate the interface in this game is a lot of work, and there's a lot to figure out. This is not a strategy video. Maybe I'll release one if people really want me to, and how to play. Maybe I'll release one too, but this is more of just a quick review. Not quick, it's 15 minutes in at this point. So I have to warn anyone going into this game, the learning curve is steep. The tutorial, well, there is no tutorial, so you're going to have to rely on videos of people that know this game or people like me that can guide you through it. So just prepare to be frustrated trying to figure out what to do next, okay? That aside, this game is fantastic. I love this is my jam, I have to say. This game graphically does not hold up to Star Wars Empire at War, which I wouldn't say is like an official follow-up, but it's pretty darn close. It's just Empire at War is more graphically beautiful. The space battles are brilliant. I love the space battles in Empire at War. It's real-time smooth. Watching the Star Destroyers and the Corellian corvettes and the Rebel Alliance ships and the X-Wings and the Y-Wings fly around and shoot each other. I love it all. Compared to Rebellion, Empire at War, the space battles are just out of this world. But Rebellion, I would say, is still more complex in a tactical sense. Yes, you can send characters on missions in Empire at War, but can you recruit new people in Empire at War? Only if you gain technology in Empire at War. Do you unlock new people. In Rebellion, you have to send troops on missions, or special characters on missions. There's even Jedi discovery in this game. For example, let's say you're the Rebellion. Luke will eventually go to Dagobah to become a Jedi student. And then you can send him on missions, especially, like, let's say you find Darth Vader or Emperor Palpatine. You can send him on a mission to the planet that they're at, and just grind out Jedi points, and then make him a Jedi Knight and a Jedi Master, and raise his stats to this god level, where his combat is now, he started at, say, 120, now he's like 250, 300, and can wall up any mission that he wanted to. You could do that. Then Luke will discover candidates for the Force. Let's say he's on a planet with 5 other characters, and he says, I found a new Jedi candidate. And it just turns out that Admiral Ackbar somehow has the Force. So now you can send them on Jedi training missions, and you can teach Admiral Ackbar the ways of the Force, if you want to. Speaking of Admiral, and this is another thing, you can assign characters to a particular role, Admiral, General, or Commander. And that's for ground and spaceship fleets. On the ground, you can assign generals and commanders. Generals buff army regiments, and commanders buff any snub fighters that you have, be it X-Wings, Y-Wings, TIE Fighters, TIE Bombers, and so on. You've got admirals that you can assign to fleets as well. That's to buff your capital ships in battle. So you can actually assign various roles to different people as well. So yeah, there's a lot to this game, and I'd love to tell you more about it, but I think 20 minutes is pushing a review. So I just want to quickly say that this game is fantastic. Again, my only gripes with it is, again, the graphical issues. You can't skip the opening intro in terms of the speech that the droids give you. This game and the windowed mode, there is none, so you're forced to play full screen. It's not an issue for some people, obviously, but for streamers like me that like to play in windowed mode so I can manage OBS, I can't do that. So I have to use my phone for Twitch. But anyway, it's a minor annoyance. Some developer really needs to remake this game, modernize it. Don't change it, for God. Don't change the gameplay. Keep the gameplay the way it is. Just update it with modern graphics. You know, give us some quality of life stuff. Maybe put in a tutorial for new players, but don't go changing a whole lot. I just give me that, please. This is one of the best games that I've ever played. I cannot recommend this game enough. For those of you interested, there is a Star Wars Rebellion tabletop game somewhat similar to this that I have covered on my channel. It has the same thematic, work where the rebellions are shooting for one goal and the Empire is shooting for another goal, and it's a long slog to do that. I think the video game streamlines everything a bit better because the computer can manage things where players can't. But if you are interested, you may want to check out the Star Wars Rebellion tabletop game, which was released within the last 5 years. So go check that out too, if you're interested in games like this. But yeah, do I recommend Star Wars Rebellion? Absolutely, positively, yes. I cannot vouch for the Steam version. I own the GOG version, and in addition to the CD-ROM, which my computer doesn't even have a CD-ROM drive anymore. They kind of phase those out nowadays. So I have the GOG version that I repurchased the game. So I would recommend it on GOG. Again, I can't vouch for the Steam version. I don't know how well it is there. But yes, I highly recommend Star Wars Rebellion. If you guys are interested in a tutorial / how to play video, and I get enough views on this one or enough support for it, I will take the time to create one. But I'm not going to do it and then find out only 50 people watched it. No, I'm not going to do that. So there needs to be a lot of feedback and a lot of, on my Discord maybe, or if I get a lot of views on this particular video, like say 1,000+ views, maybe I will, just to show that I am willing to give you guys more content if it's worth my time to do so. So there you go, Star Wars Rebellion. It's a fantastic game, very deep, very complex, high learning curve, frustrating if you don't know what you're doing. So just be warned of that. And again, graphically behind the times. If you guys haven't already, subscribed to me on Twitch and YouTube. That way you can stay up to date with any new content I happen to publish. This is Vince. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.